who the beast is, and it's being worshipped right now. Daniel 7 tells us there are 4 beasts: the lion, the leopard, the bear, and the great and terrible beast at the end. Hosea 13:4-8 tells us the Lord will be as a lion, a leopard, and a bear to the terrors, and devour them like a wild beast. The word Lord in these verses is specifically Yahweh. So the book of Hosea in the Old Testament tells us that Yahweh was the first 3 beasts of Daniel. Then Revelation 13:1 and 2 tell us the final beast is a combination of all 4 of Daniel's beasts. It is like unto a leopard, has the feet of a bear, and the mouth of a lion. If the final beast is like a leopard, bear, and lion, and Yahweh is like a leopard, bear, and lion, then Yahweh is not just the first 3 beasts of Daniel, it is more specifically the final beast of Revelation 13. Both Daniel 2 and 7 tell us the lion was ancient Babylon, the bear was the first Persian Empire, the leopard was the Greek Empire, and the final great and terrible beast was the Roman Empire, who will devour the whole world in the end. So is the beast Yahweh or a world government? The answer is both. Deuteronomy 32 explains this. It says in verses 1-3, "Give ear, O ye heavens, and I will speak, and hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. My doctrine shall drop as the rain, my speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass, because I will publish the name of the Lord. Ascribe ye greatness unto our God." The first point is made in the phrase, "Hear the words of my mouth." We know this is a reference to ancient Babylon because Revelation 13:2 tells us the mouth of the beast is the lion, and Daniel 2 and 7 tell us the lion represents ancient Babylon. So Deuteronomy 32:1 is telling us the words of Babylon. In other words, it's telling us what Babylon is saying. Babylon says that its doctrine will fall like rain because it will publish the name of the Lord. The name of the Lord in this verse is, again, Yahweh. So Deuteronomy 32 is telling us that Babylon's doctrine will fall like rain because it will publish the name Yahweh. And this verse becomes more clear when we examine the actual Hebrew words themselves. The first 3 Hebrew words are translated as publish, name, Yahweh. The next word, number 3051, means ascribe, which means to credit or assign or to attribute or think of as belonging as a quality or characteristic. So it's saying, publish the name Yahweh and ascribe or attribute greatness, God. And this word translated as God, number 430, specifically refers to the Elohim, who are the creators in Genesis chapter 1, and yes, the word is plural. Deuteronomy 32 is telling us that Babylon's doctrine will fall like rain because it will publish the name Yahweh and attribute to it the greatness of the Elohim. In other words, Babylon created the name Yahweh and attributed to Yahweh the greatness of the true God. When we look at the historical record, we can see that this is correct. The earliest archaeological record of the word Yahweh was found on the Mesha stele dating to 840 BC. At that time, Yahweh was believed to be one of many gods, but the widespread worship of Yahweh as the only God is not believed to have begun until the post-exilic period after the Babylonian exile from 586 to 539 BC. This matches exactly what Deuteronomy 32 tells us. The word Yahweh was published by Babylon in order to lead the Jews away from the true God. Babylon's doctrine will fall like rain because Babylon will publish the name Yahweh and ascribe to Yahweh the greatness of God. Historically, the widespread worship of Yahweh began when the Jews were held captive in Babylon, and the scriptures are very clear that the Israelites were led astray and began worshiping other gods, including the gods of Babylon. So if Babylon was the first beast, and Babylon created the name Yahweh, then Yahweh is one of Babylon's false gods. Revelation 13 tells us Babylon was the beast's mouth, Persia was the feet, and the beast has a total of 7 heads. Greece had the first 4 heads, and the Roman Empire had 3 more, the Western, Eastern, and Holy Roman Empires. This is further explained in Revelation 17, 8-11. The beast, it says, is the 8th of 7 kings. Verses 10 and 11 say, "There are 7 kings, 5 have fallen, 1 is, and the other is not yet come, and when he comes he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition." The 5 that had fallen were the ancient Babylonian Empire, the Persian Empire, the Greek Empire, and the Western and Eastern Roman Empires. The one that is refers to the beast that was, is not, yet is. This is the head that was wounded but then healed in Revelation 13:3. It was the Holy Roman Empire, which ceased to exist in 1806 but then rose again as Vatican City in 1929. That was the 6th king. The 7th king, that had not yet come at that time, was the League of Nations. It continued only a short space for 25 years, and the 8th king is the United Nations, the world government. This is the 8th king who is of the 7th king, the United Nations, which is the renewed League of Nations. This 8th king is the king of fierce countenance in Daniel 8:23, who rose up at the latter end of the Turkish Empire, the 4th head of the leopard. This is the king who destroys by peace, which is why Revelation 13:4 indicates no one can make war with it. The 10 horns of the beast are 10 world regions created by the United Nations in 1972 through the Club of Rome. The 10 kings are also ancient Babylon, Persia, the 4 heads of the leopard, the Western, Eastern, and Holy Roman Empires, and the League of Nations, which is the United Nations. The little horn of the beast is the little country of Israel, created by the United Nations in 1947. Daniel says the final beast will be destroyed by a stone that is a fiery flame. This is the burning star that will fall from heaven in Revelation 8 and 9. The star has the key to the bottomless pit of space, and when it hits the earth, it creates a crater bottomless pit, which smoke rises out of and darkens the sky and air. This is the falling of the stars and darkening of the sun and moon in Matthew 24:29. It is the rain of fire and brimstone in Luke 17:29 and 30. It is the bottomless pit that the beast ascends out of in Revelation 17:8. After the asteroid impact, the beast will be given power to continue for 42 months, which is 3.5 years. Then the beast will lie dead in the lake of fire caused by the asteroid. So who is the beast? It is the world government that also uses an alias called Yahweh. The Bible tells us the beast at the end is a continuation of ancient Babylon, who created the name Yahweh in order to fool the people into following their doctrine. Lord Yahweh is not God. Lord Yahweh is and has always been the government. This is also confirmed in Jeremiah 8:8. It says, "How do you say we are wise, and the law of the Lord is with us? Lo, certainly in vain made he it. The pen of the scribes is in vain." The word translated as Lord in this verse, number 3068, is Yahweh, and the word translated as vain, number 8267, means lie, deception, falsehood. So it's saying that the law of Yahweh was made in deception. The writings of the scribes is in falsehood. In fact, everything in the Bible makes more sense when we understand this basic truth. For example, in Exodus 30:11-16, where Yahweh demanded money from the Israelites in exchange for atonement. This was the collection of taxes by the government disguised as God. And again in Exodus 32:27, when Yahweh commands them to kill their brothers, companions, and neighbors. These are not the commandments of God, they are the commandments of the beast. On the most basic level, if one believes that the true God commanded humans not to kill, then all of the killing in the Old Testament becomes transgression, and most, if not all of that killing was commanded by Yahweh, who was, in actuality, the ruling empire, the beast. So it should be clear by this alone that Yahweh is not the true God. It has always been the government disguised as God. But for some reason, when Christians and Jews are shown this truth, many of them refuse to accept it. Why can't they accept a truth that is written in their own holy book? The Bible answers this too. It is because they suffer from the strong delusion described in 2 Thessalonians 2:10-12. This is not just a deception, it is specifically a delusion. The very definition of the word delusion is a belief held with strong conviction despite superior evidence to the contrary. Christians and Jews hold the writings of the Bible as superior evidence, and the Bible tells them the beast is Yahweh. Yet many of them still hold to their strong conviction that Yahweh is the one and only true God, despite the superior evidence in their holy book that Yahweh is the beast. There is more proof of this in the mystery of Babylon the Great, which we'll talk about in the next video. For a more in-depth look at this subject or on the recent